going on, guys? And welcome in to the Benches Cleared podcast, where we cover the best rivalry in all of sports. I am Jesse Gutierrez, and I represent the side of the playoffless San Francisco Giants.
I'm Tyler Coe, and I represent the side of the very much still in the playoffs Los Angeles Dodgers. Despite all my worry, they're very much still in the playoffs.
Where's my fucking Chipotle, bitch? You haven't got me nothing.
Hey, dog. Whatever.
We'll get it eventually. Maybe when you're... Oh, shit. My studio's falling apart. Maybe we'll just do it like when you're crying on the playoffs. I could, when you guys get kicked out, I can just eat and laugh at you. But I'll let you soak it up right now. Be happy, and let's talk about that shit of a wild card series that happened.
Yeah, it was definitely not horseshit because we won and it was great. It was a little boring, to be honest.
It was. It really was.
Although, I believe, was it game one when Jansen? Yeah, it was game one where there's 2 outs and a man on first, and we're up by up by two, and Yelich is at the plate. That was a little nerve-wracking. That kind of, got the heart going a little bit. But other than that, it's kind of what I expected, to be honest. Despite all my worrying, because that's just who I am, and that's how I always view sports. I'm never really want to be confident because I feel like it will just bite you in the ass. But,
that makes sense.
It kind of played out the way I thought it would, just not with who I thought it would. Austin Barnes, hero of game 2 by far. Really got it started. And then, Mookie got that 2 RBI double right after that. So big up to Austin Barnes. I've been shitting on him all season. So I could admit when I'm wrong. You got
to stay on brand, dude. You just got to talk shit about everyone, and then you're going to succeed.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't really have much to say. I mean, we won. We're out of the fake playoffs, and we're in the real playoffs. So, now it begins.
Stud and dud of the week.
This week, the stud, without question, Clayton Kershaw. The best I've ever seen him pitch in the postseason. And I think he is finally going to silence all the doubters. And, I think I just heard you say it, mid-season Kershaw. Yeah, it's mid-season Kershaw, baby. He didn't have to start 30 games. So, hopefully this whole narrative of we know his struggles in the postseason have been well documented and blah, 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 blah. No one. We'll
see what happens anymore. When he plays an over 500 team. I mean, I agree with you. I think he looked great, and I think he's a great pitcher, and I think that obviously he's a pitcher of a generation, and
first ballot Hall of Famer.
And I feel like the 60-game season is really going to help him, especially in this postseason. But if I'm just saying that if he fails in the next series, it wouldn't surprise me either.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think if he were to not pitch well, it's not going to be this, monumental failing of him coming in the 7th inning again and giving up a few home runs. I don't think it's going to be that. I think, it's just going to be the Padres have an incredibly talented lineup, and, he might get bested, but I don't think so. I think Kirsch is locked in. He's ready to go. As far as the dud of the week, I mean, dude, I'm so sick of fucking Max Muncy and Cody Bellinger not getting their shit together. It's just so frustrating.
That's on brand too. Well, Max Muncy does pretty well in postseason, but Bellinger never has. So that's kind of on brand.
Well, and it's just so frustrating because, he changed his swing during quarantine because he felt like when he got to the playoffs last year, he fell off. Well, all that did was make him fall off all fucking season and carry that into the postseason. So, I mean, he needs to figure it out, and he needs to figure it out quick. Same with Muntz. Those are 2 huge bats in our lineup. So as long as they can play decent, now that we have Mookie and everyone else is kind of firing on all cylinders, just play decent. Put the ball in play. That's all you need to do. So those are the duds. Hopefully they're listening and it fucking sparks a fire under their ass.
It's worked in the past. And now the other side for stud and dud of the week.
Nothing right now.
On to the fuck you of the week. A little snippet from our friend and resident fuck you, probably not as much as Aubrey Huff, but pretty close to resident fuck you of the podcast. Carlos Correa, with his comments after winning 2 games against a team who hasn't won any postseason games the last, was it 18 years? Or no, 18 losses in a row, not 19 years. But still pretty shitty. What his comment was, what are the haters going to say now? We won 2 games on the road with no fans. We're playing good baseball. Bitch, you're under 500. Like, bro, sit your happy ass down. It pisses me off that they won game 1 today against the A's.
And
they're still not getting
2 home runs.
Yeah, he did hit 2 home runs. But they're going to turn it around. I think the entire world is rooting for the A's at this moment. So, fuck that guy. And you can quote me on that.
Yeah. Also, just a fuck you of the week, too. Carrying over from last week, all the Houston Astro fans that just like to ride this bandwagon and think Carlos Correa is so tough, like, oh, look at him addressing the haters. Shut the fuck up. Sit the fuck down. No one cares. No one wants to hear
I can't wait to retweet that, and once they get kicked out and be like, bitch it. Generation X.
The only benefit of if the Astros somehow got to the World Series and the Dodgers also made it to the World Series, if let's say it's a Game 7 situation and Dodgers have a lead, Joe Kelly can stand to get a 25-game suspension for next season. Just let one loose.
I can't.
At someone's teeth.
Last year I was talking about the worst thing in the world could have been a Yankees Dodgers World Series. That would be the worst scenario. Now. This is definitely the nightmare scenario. So, gosh, pray to God that doesn't happen.
Now for the other section of fuck you of the week, I'm giving it to these
fuck you
2 or 3 jackass white boys who disrespected Tupac and try to make a funny video.
Yeah, you can't do that. Yeah,
they are offbeat and they're ugly and they probably smell bad and they have no friends. And the other thing about it is, I don't want to.
They're not making your people look good with the whole no rhythm thing.
I don't want to generalize all Padre fans because I know some of them are real baseball fans. I wonder how long these 2 kids have been watching baseball. One, they have the new uniforms. So that's a strike against them right there. Leads me to believe that they've only been watching baseball for a little.
They do know who Tony Gwynn is, though.
Everyone knows who Tony Gwynn is. Jesus Christ. God.
That's true. Yeah, it was very Robotronic. Don't even know the. Yeah, I mean, I can't get on board with it just because you're disrespecting Tupac. You called that song. You're dissing Canley off his own beat. Like, do you know who Tupac is, or are you like? Come on, bro.
The other thing that I found was funny is I know they're doing this towards Kenley because that's his walk-in song.
Yeah.
But it's also California Love. San Diego's in California. Now, if they were going to do one to like I Love LA, that would have been smarter. That would have been a better diss. But these kids,
and you won't disrespect. You're not disrespecting Tupac. Tupac's gonna. The thing is, Tupac. Everyone that's been alive in the '90s knows Tupac's not dead. Tupac's alive. He's gonna come out with a record next month.
Hotel in Cuba. He's on a fucking flight right now. He's coming to beat your ass. Fuck Slam Diego. It's a stupid fucking name.
Slam Diego Love.
Yeah. Fuck those kids.
I'm upset that we put that on. But anyways, yeah. I don't want to say fuck those guys because they're trying. They're just guys.
See, here's
just
the thing.
Trying.
Here's the thing, bro. You need Ashcon.
We had one too, but it was better. The guy could actually sing. It was Ashcon doing "Don't Stop Believing."
What do you want me to say, dude? Frig these guys, bro. They tried really hard though.
Yeah, who cares? Whatever. Fuck them. Yeah, I guess they're not. I guess they're not my kids.
See,
so
that's the difference between mine and your comedy, bro. You know how I was saying the city of Houston should be firebombed?
Yeah.
I don't think San Diego's that far off. But, that's the difference between you and me.
Yeah, and then you went off because here's the thing too. If you've listened, I live my entire life in Southern California, so to go after the Mexican food here, like, bro, you need to chill.
San Diego Mexican food is no different than Los Angeles Mexican food, except the California burrito, which is an authentic Mexican food. It's just fucking French fries. I mean,
it's good.
It's delicious.
It's delicious.
But that's not real Mexican food.
Yeah, bro. When you're in LA, any taco truck has some of the best salsa you've ever had. And San Diego, I mean, yeah, it's good. I've had a lot of Mexican food there, but you can kind of tell it's a little geared towards rich people, in my opinion. But I don't know. You don't get. For what I'm trying to say is you don't get which LA Mexican food. It's just not the same.
No,
it's just I know it's really close and I get it. It should be like the same, but it's just not. And I'm probably biased because I've always lived here, but it's just not.
Yeah, Chula Vista has the best Mexican food in San Diego County, not San Diego City. So fuck those kids.
So fuck San Diego.
That's
but
right.
I trust me, I wanted to back it because I want the Padres to win. But I can't do it. I can't disagree. I can't disrespect Tupac like that. And last week, there's a couple things we haven't addressed. We didn't do a playoff bracket. We gave ourselves gimmies the first round, which is a good thing because my bracket would have been fucked because there's so many upsets that I mean, who would pick the Marlins over the Cubs?
I chose the Marlins.
Because you're a bitch, dude. You're a liar. And who would choose
show you my fucking bracket
the Astros over the Twins?
Like I choose that one.
Yeah, so we're giving ourselves a gimme first round. We're going to go just the division series right now. Rays and Yankees. I'm going to take the Rays because the starting pitching is going to carry them. What do you think?
I mean, I've said the whole season, before the season, the Rays were going to make the World Series, even though they're down 4-3 right now in the top of the 8th inning. I'm going
3 though.
I'm going Rays.
Yeah.
They're going to bring it home.
A's versus Astros. I think we kind of already addressed it, but I'm just guessing. I might be talking for you here. This might be male chauvinistic, but I'm going to do that for you, sweetheart. We're both going to go A's. I think it's going to be large. I think Laureano is going to be the MVP. So
I disagree.
Do you?
I do. I think the Astros lucked out so much by having to face two of the worst choking playoff teams in the last 20 years.
I was going to say the A's are good, but yeah, you're right.
No, the A's are a great team, but there's something in my gut. There's something in my gut that tells me the Astros are going to win. I don't want them to. I clearly don't want them to, but I just feel like that's how it's going to go.
Yeah, that's definitely possible. Braves and Marlins. I've been going against the Marlins all season, and this might be a full move to go against them again, but I'm still going to do it. I'm going to go with the Braves. That duo of Acuna and Freeman. I feel like that's what's going to carry them.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way the Marlins win this series. It would be cool. I would enjoy seeing it.
Yeah.
Especially when you see the whole, they've never lost a playoff series where it's like, well, that's going to end this year. But I think the Braves take it. It would be fun to see the Marlins win, but I just don't see it happening.
Yeah. I love that whole bottom feeders battle cry thing.
Dude, I want one of those shirts. That's one of the funniest fucking things. See, again, that's what baseball needs.
Yeah.
More shit
and
talking.
that's a double whammy for millennials because everyone knows what we're known for, eating ass. So that makes sense. Over to the last prediction. I'm gonna go Padres over the Dodgers. Manny gets his revenge. He goes nuts. Carries them through this round.
No, I'm gonna go Dodgers in 5, and I feel like that's even giving the Padres a game. I think it could be. I want to say 4, but just me, I'm always a little superstitious and don't want to be too hyped. But I mean, the Padres are a great team. They're the second best team in the National League, so it's gonna be a fight. But I think this is the year that the Dodgers finally get over that fucking hump. So
I mean. We have video of you saying that this isn't a real World Series when we first were about to start the season, but that's fine.
I believe I've retracted that.
You retracted the same. You can change your mind. I guess that makes sense.
You're a fucking bitch. That's what I have to say. Fucking bring up. I don't think I ever said that.
You did.
Well, now you're gonna have to put a clip of me saying it.
We were talking shit about baseball's gonna happen. No, it's not. Yes, it is. And you're like, it doesn't even matter because you mentioned it. And then I was like, nah, it's real. And then you're like, nah. Well, I think maybe you even softened on it right when you said it. But
after
I think
the course of this season, I have realized that it is.
But that's the thing. I'm the one. I mean,
And that's
all
okay
I'm
to
gonna
change
play.
your mind.
If the Dodgers wins, I'm gonna make a beat out of you saying that.
Listen, kids, it's okay to change your mind after you're presented with the facts. That's what makes an adult.
And also listen to other sides. We can't just talk about the Dodgers and Padres and beat up. We can't have just Tyler beat up on the Padres all day and me unreally knowingly trying to defend them. So we're going to talk about someone who knows the Padres in and out. And now we'd like to welcome into the Bench is Cleared podcast our friend Sac Bunt Chris. A lot of credits to this guy. He used to write for Padres Public and podcasted for Padres and Pints. Really happy to have him. Chris, how's it going, man?
Hey, going good, Jesse. Good to be on. Good to see you too, Tyler.
You as well, my friend. So on the level of excitement, how excited are you to actually be in the real playoffs now? Now that we've moved past that bullshit round?
I think at this point, I'm very ecstatic. It's hard to explain really like this level of happiness for being a Padres fan, having been through so much mediocre baseball, and I think maybe that's what's partially so frustrating about being a Padres fan is they were never terrible. They're always just mediocre, just good enough to not get
your hopes up.
Picks. or your hopes get enough to get your hopes up a little bit and win 76 games. The Padres are the ultimate 76 game winning team. So
I've been there when it's a month left of the season. You're like, well, if the Dodgers just lose 5 and then we lose and then we just go on a 5 streak, then we'll be like right there. Yeah. So I know a lot of people were giving shit about Padre fans for their celebration and how excited they were that they won the the wild card round. But as far as excitement, you probably shouldn't be around a crowd of people at this moment. But as far as the excitement, like Dodger fans, like you got to think back all the way to like 2008 when you first win your first, playoff series. Shit was crazy. You know what I mean? Like same thing with like Giants. The first time in 2010 when you had like a chance, it was after it's been a while. Like there's going to be excitement. If you've been there, then that round would be like you're excited, but not the whole city going crazy. But when it hasn't been there in a while, let them get a little crazy. Why not?
It's really hard to describe what it's like watching so much bad baseball for so long, and then finally having that satisfaction of the team living up to their promise. And I think in this case, in more some, players just having so many great seasons all at the same time and it all working out after those long rebuilds, multiple rebuilds. It's just an incredible feeling. And after they won the wild card series, it was just I was beside myself, just emotional. I wasn't loud, I wasn't going crazy. I was just like I couldn't function because of how happy I was.
Just in that state of shock. Well, I mean, it makes sense too, like you were alluding to, like all the years of mediocre play, and just as a city too. Now you don't have the Chargers. I mean,
right?
Padres is pretty much the only thing you have. And now that they are living up to expectations, Manny Machado, he's playing for that contract. He's earning it.
Yeah.
Fernando Tatis Jr., it sounds like Clevenger is going to go possibly even tomorrow. I mean, there's a lot to be excited about as a Padres fan and a lot to be nervous about as a Dodger fan. And I think vice versa, as a Padres fan, there's a lot to be nervous about. But it's going to be
I don't think it would be that nerve-wracking though if you think about it, because if the Padres lose to the Dodgers, you have they got there, the Dodgers are, best team in baseball right now. I don't think it's like
I don't think so.
Letdown,
I don't think so, because if you look at it, I believe the Padres had the second best record in the National League. I mean, it just so happens they got the wild card because they're behind the Dodgers, but I don't think it's so much that they got there. They're expecting to compete.
Yeah, that's true. Can we talk about how shitty the Central was or what? Like that was crazy. I can't believe like everyone's talking about how good the Central is, Central this, Central that, and honestly, as someone who wants the Dodgers to fail miserably, I'm thinking of who can actually take them out. Obviously, the Brewers weren't going to take them out, but I was thinking, man, the Reds, dude, like their pitching is just so good, and yeah, technically their offense isn't good, but those names, dude, they could just turn on at any moment, and I felt like they had a shot, but dude. They didn't even score at all.
Yeah, I mean Cardinals.
Yeah.
Cardinals were the only ones in my mind from the Central that had a shot, and obviously they got shit on by the Padres. So it is what it is.
The Zach
It
Davies
got scary
went
there.
down,
It went back and forth.
yeah, well, in game 2 when Zach Davies started and it was 4-0, and I think the second, that was the lowest
I felt
in a long
so
time.
good. I was so happy. It was kind of bittersweet though, because I don't want to play the Cardinals because of all the old demons, so to speak.
That's what my wife said. Yeah.
But I was just
I was like, you need to put your 2020 goggles on, okay? You want to play the Cardinals,
right? And
she
I was
like,
thinking,
I don't know. I've been hurt too much in the past. I don't know if I want to.
I was just thinking, like, okay, at least if we get bounced by the Cardinals, I won't have to hear it from the Padres.
Mm-hmm.
But the way they came back and all those runs they're scoring, I think is the reason Dodger fans should be afraid of the Padres.
Yeah. Well, for me, the emotions that I was feeling was there had been such a build up to that. Obviously, such a decades as being a fan of a mediocre team, but also this season, so much talent in the Padres lineup. They went out and traded some talented prospects to fill it out, and having come so far, and at that point, there wasn't even a single highlight in the wild card series for Padres fans to be excited about. It was all Cardinals by the time the Padres were down 4-0 in the second game. And it wasn't even like, oh yeah, I remember that one hit or whatever. There's nothing. There's no fun, relief, the release of the tension. It never happened. And it would have been absolutely devastating if even the Padres hadn't had some fun moments in that series. And luckily a lot more happened and they ended up winning. So there are definitely a lot more fun moments, but that was not feeling good at that point.
Yeah, I mean, talk about fun moments. Arguably the second best bat flip of all time, in my opinion. I mean, that's some Jose Bautista.
Let's talk about that backflip just a little bit. If I was like a Padres fan, I think I'd be a little upset about that bat flip, just a little bit, because that shit went maybe 5 feet over the wall. Like, you to do that big of a bat flip, and if you end up on first or second because of that shit, dude, I'd be livid.
But it didn't, so who gives a shit?
No, I know, but what I'm saying is when I saw it, I was like, I would be like a little bit like, why are you doing that to me? We're running because you're scaring the shit out of me. That's what I would think.
Yeah, well, it was a bat flip, and just the walking and looking into the dugout.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
We're all for that. Like I'm all about except when you're down like 5 runs and you hit like a solo shot, like bitch, you're losing. Right. No, like don't try to be the shit right now. But like you can't bat flip like that and not hit over the fence. And I feel like because it's becoming a lot more acceptable, we're not that far away from it.
Yeah, that would be amazing. If it wasn't my team.
Yeah, exactly.
That's Manny Machado's MO. He'll pick a single, all the time. But I don't know. I think as long as it gets over the wall, who gives a shit? Yeah. Because if I was a Padres fan or in that dugout, I would be losing my shit when he did that. Definitely. I mean, that's gotta like pump up the guys so much. And I think that's what baseball is missing. Like, obviously, I'm not a huge fan of Fernando Tatis Jr. I mean, I think he's a great player, but that is why I'm not such a huge fan of him. But that's what baseball needs. They need more of that stuff because everyone has it except for baseball.
You need players to love and players to hate.
Yeah, but also fun. I mean, what's wrong with a little fun?
Yeah.
You feel a little bit bad if you're on the losing team, but it's fun. It's more fun. When your team wins, you'll feel that much better, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And speaking about winning, let's go into it. Let's talk about this series. What's your prediction on the series there, Chris?
I'm thinking Padres in 3.
Oh shit!
Interesting.
Don't I have to pick that? I mean, no,
you can be illogical. I mean, you think they're gonna sweep? Really?
No, I don't think that. I think they're pretty evenly matched teams. I mean, if I'm being honest, I think it goes to 5 games. But the big thing from the Padres' perspective is who's going to be pitching. And I wish I had the answers for you guys. I don't think I know any more than you do about who's going to be pitching. if it's Clevenger and Lamet, that's a huge difference than Paddock and Davies at this point. So
it looks like it's going to be. It looks like it's going to be. I mean, Clevenger looks like he's going to make the roster from everything.
Yeah, they're saying that he looks good, that he's going to be there, but Lamet doesn't look too good. But then I saw a video of Lamet throwing, so maybe Lamet does go, but he goes like in game 4 for like maybe like 3 innings or something like that, and it's not like, you know, a main starter. I don't know. I think that's the huge what if, right? Because if it's Lamet and Clevenger are there, I think they can legitimately give a Dodgers a run for their money. I think they're still the underdog, obviously, but I think they're probably the team that can most likely kick them out if any team can. If they're not there, I mean, they still got a shot, but it's not looking too good. Like, they barely beat the Cardinals without them, and I just don't see them being the Dodgers without Clevenger and Lamet. If it's just Clevenger, they still have a solid chance. It's not like the Brewers.
Yeah, I've been reading reports within the last hour that Clevenger might start tomorrow. So it looks like he's going to be on there no matter what. But
we can only hope.
Yeah, I can't. I don't follow Padres news too closely until this series, but it looks like Lamet, I don't think he's going to make the roster just because of how taxed the Padres bullpen was. You can't afford to have a guy on there who might be able to go. If it's like, let's wait a few days and see, if we give him some injections or whatever, see if he can go. I don't think they can afford to. So I don't think he's going to make the roster. So with that being said, my prediction, I'm going to say Dodgers in 5. Just because I don't,
all right.
I don't feel as if we have such a huge advantage. I could see it potentially going 4, but I think it's going to go 5. So I think it's going to be a great series. This is me in every playoff series. I feel like my stomach hurts. I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight.
Chris, he was saying that against the Brewers too, under 500 team. So, but yes, I think I'm going to agree. I'm going to say, I'm going to say Padres in 5 because I really want that to happen.
Pussy.
Because fuck the Dodgers.
Coward.
And Chris, what do you think is the strength that if the Padres do win, what part is going to be the thing that takes them over the edge?
Well, it's all year it's been the lineup, and so they're gonna have to keep riding that. Tyler, you brought up a point earlier that the Padres are actually right behind the Dodgers in record, and I believe also in runs allowed versus runs scored. But it's a close matchup, and they've gotten that way by riding their offense. And I would also add that, considering that record over the course of the season, they've added to that offense with Austin Nola. So there's not a lot of holes in their offense. It's weird to say, but it's kind of a murderer's row. There's not. Austin Nola's had a great season. He's hitting like 7th. Will Myers had a great season. He's hitting towards the back. Mm-hmm. Jake Cronenworth is Rookie of the Year candidate, and he might be hitting towards the back of the lineup. There's not a lot of easy outs there. And that's kind of been, the Padres have had trouble with their bullpen towards the beginning of the year, and then now with their starters going out, they've had to rely obviously on their offense, as we saw in Game 3 especially. And so that's what it's going to be: is can they score enough, especially if their top 2 starters aren't able to go.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the key for the Dodgers too. Is Dodgers are going to have to take advantage of, excuse me, hopefully the bullpen being taxed, the lack of starting pitching, going up against someone like Chris Paddock or Zach Davies, because it's the same. It's kind of like looking in the mirror, really. I mean, the Dodgers don't have any holes on offense. It's just going to be if the bullpen can hold up and how long the starting pitching can go and how long each team's pitching can hold the other's offense at bay. So it's going to be a super exciting series. But again, I mean,
yeah, it could go either way, like you guys were saying. I mean, who do you, if your guys' respective team wins, who's the MVP? I know there's no real award for it, but who's the MVP and who's the surprise of the series?
So for me, I got to go with the obvious. I got to go with the easy answer here because I want it to happen so much. Manny Machado would be just chef's kiss from me to come back after playing for the Dodgers. And
Machado gets his revenge.
The response from Dodgers fans for him signing in San Diego, and just I'm not gonna lie, there's some attitude coming from Dodgers fans towards him, not just about the Johnny Hustle comment, but then going and signing in San Diego, and I kind of felt this. So why would you do that? And for him to come back and knock the Dodgers out of the postseason would, that would be life changing for me. I would enjoy that so much.
So who would be your surprise of the series?
No one's thinking.
I think the surprise answer there might be Zach Davies. He's had such a great year, and he's so not flashy. He's the opposite of flashy. He doesn't, he hits 90 on the gun. He throws his changeup a lot. It's not exactly a sexy pitch, but he's had such a great season. And if the Padres might really need to rely on him, and if that happens, there's a chance that he could really come through and surprise a lot of people. People might not know who he is, but he's got such incredible command. And he throws that amazing changeup that he could surprise people, and really the Padres might be able to ride him to a win.
So I just have to comment
again.
I just have to comment on the whole Manny Machado thing. When Manny Machado signed in San Diego, I couldn't have given a shit less. I didn't understand that so many Dodger fans were like super upset. And, people had kicked around the idea like, okay, we'll move Seager to third and put Turner at second, which is his natural position that he came up playing, and Machado plays shortstop. And I was like, that just doesn't work. Like, and especially when Gavin Lux was supposed to be like the savior at second base. And, I've always kind of disagreed with that, but I don't give a shit. Manny Machado is an exciting player. I don't care for him now because he's on the Padres, but it's not like I have this like burning hatred for him, but I know a lot of Dodger fans do, and I just don't understand it.
Yeah. I love Manny Machado. I love infield defense, like Nolan Arenado and Manny Machado are my guys. I hated when he was on the Dodgers for half the season, and I had to hate him. But yeah, so.
Yeah, and again, if there would have been a hole for him, if there would have been a spot for him, I would have loved to sign Manny Machado for 10 years, but there just wasn't a spot for him. So obviously we're not going to spend $300 million, but it is what it is.
Oh, so the Johnny Hustle stuff didn't bother you?
Oh, it definitely bothered me. I don't think that's that's who he is at the core of, I don't think that defines him as a player. Because
what like defines him is barehanded throws. Like when I do that, I yell out Machado when I do it. Like that's him.
Yeah, like he's an A+ defender, and he has an incredible stick. And him, of course, like I said earlier in the podcast, him pimping that single, I believe it was in Milwaukee. That shit bothers me. But he's still one of the top 10 baseball players in the world. So. I don't think that defines him as a player. Don't like him, given the circumstances now. But I think for the Dodgers, the MVP, I think we ride it out with my boy Mookie again. He keeps.
Why not?
He has a softball season, and I think he's kind of the trigger as long as he stays hot. We can't really depend on someone like a Cody Bellinger or Max Muncy this season. It hasn't been there consistently, so we need Mookie to stay consistent. And I think the surprise, and even could be the MVP, is Tony Gonsolin. If Tony Gonsolin gets slotted in a game 3 and they just let him pitch, I think he's going to have a stellar outing. There's even talk about him potentially coming out of the bullpen after a start. So I think Tony Gonsolin could be a huge surprise and help us get past the Padres and win the series.
Yeah, that would.
One thing. Can I add one thing about the Manny Machado talk?
Nope, you're done. You're done adding because you're good.
I appreciate it. Having watched him for a season last year, like sort of a third of a season-ish this year, every time when he legs out a single and nails an infield single and just hustles to the bag or goes first to third or scores on a play that you didn't know if he was going to score on, Padres Twitter just explodes with the like alternating lowercase uppercase Manny doesn't hustle. Because if you watch him, he does hustle.
Yeah.
Hustles like
he does
crazy.
now. He does now, but if you watch the Dodger games, there was a lot of non-hustle going on. I think that kind of put him in his place. I think he got humbled a little bit.
Also, I think people forget he scored a game-winning run in extra innings in the NLCS. He went from second. I forget who hit the ball. It was just a shot into right field, and he went from second to home, and it was a bang play, and he was safe. So, believe me, I love to play into the whole Johnny Hustle, he's lazy thing. But yeah, I mean, I think it's more of he just turns it on when he wants to, and that's what kind of bothers people.
Yeah.
But
and it just showed up on a big stage,
that.
and that's what happened in 2018. So,
right, and
people get frustrated. I can get that.
Yeah. But of course, if you're a Padres, you got to do that. You got to hit them with that, because I feel like they're on the team on the up and coming, and the Dodgers are still unbelievably they're still fucking rising and staying at that top, and they're not on the downfall yet. So I Padres are right there trying to close to catch them, so they got to knock them down any way they can.
Yeah.
I think this Padres team can do it. And I don't think it would be that much of an upset if it happened. I think they're a really good team, especially with the additions they made with Clevenger and Austin Nola.
Yeah.
Austin Adams.
Not to mention Mackenzie Gore is just around the corner. So, Padres are looking like they're going to be good for a minute. Before we let you go, I am really interested. What do you guys think might be your guys' downfall? Like, what scares you the most about going into the series?
I'll field this one first. Starting pitching. Walker Buehler's blister holding up is the top thing on my list. That just in and of itself, I mean, that can cost you one game, and one game in a 5-game series is everything.
Yeah.
So I think starting pitching, mainly Walker Buehler. I'm not too worried about Clayton, especially after what we saw he did, not having to start 30 games going into the postseason. I mean, he looks well rested. He's locked in. But I think Walker Buehler is going to be kind of the wild card in this series.
Okay.
Yeah, from my perspective, we talked about it already, but if Lamet and Clevenger can't go, then the Padres have really 2 starting pitchers that they trust, and one of them they might not even trust that much anymore. It's a scary situation because you can't ride your bullpen through a 5-game series like you can through a 3-game series. So that would be scary. I do have one question for you guys. I hope you don't mind. It's not playoff related, but I grew up. Well, I went to college up in Northern California, so I became a bit of an A's fan, and I became a bit of a Farhan Zaidi fan through that. So I would like to hear your guys' thoughts, since he's worked for both of your teams on him, and do you like him? How much have you paid attention to him, and what do you think of the job that he's doing in San Francisco?
I'm a big fan. I think the thing about Farhan and what people don't really grasp is just a lot of fans have this win now mentality, and they want, to go out and get the Manny Machados or whatever. And they fail to realize how often that doesn't work. So if you're willing to kind of work with them and understand that this is going to be kind of a long process, and we're going to try to get some homegrown talent, and especially with the Giants, I mean, your farm system was so depleted, and now you're building that back. Look at the Dodgers farm system. It's coming out of our ears. And I think he does a great job. I think you just have to understand the mentality of it's not going to be now, but we're going to be better off in the future because of what we're doing now. So I'm a fan. I'm not a fan that he's in San Francisco, because I think in a few years, San Francisco is going to be kind of armed to the teeth.
The NL West is going to be stacked in a couple years. I truly feel that way. And pretty much just to echo, I'm a huge fan. I mean, there's little things like I'm not a fan that they didn't re-sign Bumgarner. I know he had a shitty year, but I believe that's due to injury. I think sometimes you got to look past certain things and sign a franchise player. But other than that, man, I mean, just the guys he finds out of nowhere. I think his specialty is creating so much depth. I think that's what doesn't get talked about. I feel like the Giants have a lot of depth right now. They're just missing the star players to be a juggernaut team. I think that's why they're a mid-tier team with a bunch of DFA guys who are doing great. I mean, Yastrzemski, but he's already 30. So, I mean, how long is that going to continue? Alex Dickerson, all that kind of shit. Like, he's the king of that. And I think he gets a little bit too much credit for as far as what he gets for the farm system. A lot of it was Sabian and Evans is just now starting to come up. Like his MO also is development. I think he develops the people that he hires and the way he does things is he develops a lot of guys into, you know, exceeding their potential. They're a lot more interactive with like minor league system and they just give the tools to make guys succeed. And I'm a fan, basically. I can talk a year about it as you can tell, but yeah, fan.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that.
Well, we appreciate you coming on, man. I know you got to run. You're getting down to the final minute, man, and we really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on and not just talking shit without me, not talking behind my back.
Exactly. All right, Chris,
Hey, man,
man.
thanks for
Have a
coming
good
on.
night, man. We'll
Appreciate
see you
it.
later.
This episode has been brought to you by Renovation Candle Company. Fall candles are out now. Use promo code BENCHES for 20% off your entire order. Holiday candles are coming soon.
Smell good. Make your room smell good. Make everything smell good. And thank you guys so much for entering in our giveaway for a Dodgers Starbucks cup. And the lucky winner is Lorraine Rivera on Twitter at RoxyGirl7985. Thank you so much for entering. We'll be DMing you and contacting you about getting that out to you as soon as possible. Make sure to subscribe to us and write us a review on your favorite podcasting platform to help us grow. Follow us on Twitter for more giveaways at Benches Cleared P and Instagram at Benches Cleared Podcast. We will be posting a recap of the NLDS and an NLCS preview. Hopefully, it will just be about the Padres and whoever else. But
if it's just the Padres, it's going to be just Jesse. So
yeah.
Have fun with that.
It'll be crying for 20 minutes and me talking about the next NLCS. But we'll be posting that on Monday. And thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Go Dodgers.
And fuck Aubrey Huff.